Hey, everyone. Hello. We have a change in topic. Somebody asked me, why did we change the topic? Well, Netflix decided they weren't going to cooperate with me, so I had to change my topic. I hope it's a topic worth talking about. The reason why I picked this topic, excuse me, I picked this topic today. She overstepped her bounds, or she overstepped my authority. I picked this topic today because I was having a conversation with this young man. He's not necessarily a young man, around 40. And I was having this conversation with him, and he was saying, please hit the like button when you come in the door. Please hit the like button. He was saying, a women or women in general have a hard time understanding this one concept with men. If you overstep his authority, why would he need to be there in the relationship if she oversteps my authority? And I thought that was really weird. I thought that was a really interesting dynamic. He said it came from the discussion that we always have about needing a man and wanting a man in someone's life. If you overstep my authority as the man in the relationship, what do I need to be there for? What is the point in me being there when I'm made to feel unnecessary? And he said, men, quite rightly, feel rejected, unwanted, hurt. You don't need me to be there if you can make all of the decisions. You don't need me to be there if I'm undervalued, if my presence is unnecessary. And this is a very isolated thing that women do. And a lot of women don't mean to do that. They don't mean to overstep. But it's out of one particular aspect that they do this. It's called the mothering instinct, or the smothering instinct, because it's always a matter of looking at something and trying to solve the problems instead of saying, I have a partner and let my partner figure this out. She oversteps her boundaries. A man is quite capable of understanding what he needs to do and when he needs to do it. I am a big proponent of standing back and letting him do what needs to be done. I don't need to have a conversation about it. I don't need to assert his authority. I don't need to do any of those things. When you overstep your bounds as as someone in a relationship, a female in a relationship, you're going to get this man to withdraw from the relationship, withdraw from making those decisions. And once he withdraws from making those decisions, he's going to start to withdraw from the relationship because you have essentially put him in the back burner as the decision maker. It's called emasculation. This is when you undermine a man's sense of masculinity or self-worth, especially in a relationship. You have to be sensitive to this man's authority. And women, I'm afraid sometimes that we feel like we need to mother all the time. So we have to get out of mothering our men. We criticize his abilities or change his decision making. This is a way to overstep our boundary or overstep his boundaries. Constantly pointing out what's wrong, what needs to be done. And this may lead to inadequate feelings. Ignoring what he has to contribute. You ignore his contribution. You ignore what he needs to say. You ignore his thoughts on raising the children. You ignore his thoughts on doing it certain ways. This is another way that you overstep your authority. And sometimes we don't do it deliberately as a mean thing. We just have that independent streak or we feel as though we have to be independent, and it takes a while to turn that off sometimes. As a young person in a relationship, it's difficult to turn that off sometimes. But as you are in a relationship and the relationship goes on, certain things become easier for you to do. And that is to, what is it called? It's called, I'm blank. It's called relinquishing control in that relationship as time goes on. And I understand young people early in relationships, you're both independent people, but you have to learn very quickly as you are in a relationship that you have to allow this person to lead in that relationship. You undermine that role, you undermine that relationship, you undermine his trust in you. You undermine all of these things, not deliberately. I'm not saying women do it deliberately. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you do it and you're not conscious of what you're doing, you're undermining his role in the family by taking over tasks that he's supposed to do, taking the car to get the oil change, taking the car to get fixed, calling places to get things fixed, taking care of other things that only a man should be doing if you're in a relationship with a man. Okay. Crowding his domain, taking his responsibilities away without his input, without him saying that it's okay or necessary. We do this, but we don't try to do it deliberately. Some women do, small portion, but most of us don't recognize that we are undermining or overstepping our bounds in a relationship. So I'm saying be conscious of that. Become conscious of what you do and say, especially in the beginning, if you want that relationship to last. Comparing him to someone else on TV, ex-boyfriend, your father. Comparing that man to someone else emasculates him, makes him feel inadequate. And sometimes we do that self-consciously, and sometimes we do that unconsciously. Okay? You cannot compare him unfavorably to other men, such as exes, friends, whoever. Don't ever do that. That's a self-esteem killer. I don't care how or when you slice it. Comparing him to your father, saying, my dad knows how to do that, why you don't know how to do that, is an ego killer. When you take control of situations and you don't say, would you like to do this? Are you doing this? Okay, I'll stand back. When I see men talking, I stand back. I sit right in my femininity. I'm not saving a man. I'm not doing that. I want you to save yourself. I'm letting you be you. I'm letting you take control of that situation. Okay? Don't ever step in between two men who are having a discussion and two men who are trying to work out an issue or a problem. You overstep your authority there when you do that. Mocking or belittling how he feels about a situation, how he feels about doing something, dismissing those feelings as invalid, or you just jealous, or you just don't know, or you just weak, or you a bitch ass nigga, or you this, that, and the third. Those are not valid responses if you want to stay in a relationship with a man. Those are not valid responses. And I get it. Some of these are default, but you have to learn what your triggers are. You have to learn the things that you say and do are not always appropriate in the middle of a relationship when you're letting, or you're supposed to be letting, the man lead in that relationship. And I mentioned it before, calling them derogatory names, that kind of stuff. Don't dismiss the feelings that are there that may be valid. All feelings are valid. That doesn't mean they need to be expressed, nor do they need to be ignored, nor do you dismiss those. And being physically rejecting is another way that women do this. I'm not saying all women do it. I'm just saying these are ways to overstep your bounds in the relationship. Okay. But it has to be communication related. It has to be good communication between you guys in order for this to work, in order for this to be overcome. Because a lot of women have these things or have these issues and don't really know that they're doing these things. Okay. And a lot of it comes from being the mothering people that we want to be. We forget that we cannot mother our men. We have to remember we cannot be the final decision maker in a relationship when you have a man and a female that are on equal settings or equal footing. And the whole point between you and him is that you have to understand his communication style and you have to understand yours. She wants to be in control because she's a part of that modern day female that is used to doing things on her own without someone to help her or support her. So therefore, she may not know that she's doing these things. Okay. She's financially independent. So therefore, she's used to doing making these decisions on her own. Nothing wrong with it. You're an individual person. Nothing wrong with you doing these things on your own. But all of that has to take a back seat when you get into a relationship. Okay. I understand that you have financial control over your finances. You have a career path that you may be rushing towards. I understand all of that. But part of this is having safety, security, and now you have a companion. Now you have a person that is leading, and you have to relinquish that control. You have to relinquish that power that you have. A lot of women want to be in control of their environment, the decisions that they make, but now he's here. He is here. You tasked him with being the person that was in charge of all of the things, head of household, knowing how to do this. That's why we encourage the men to learn other things besides your job. Learn how to change tires, do oil changes, do this, do that, all of these things. Because you want to be useful outside of just having money. You want to be useful in other ways. Okay. And then she will see you as that useful human being that is needed. A check is not needed. Money is fine, but we also need you to be useful in other ways. And in order for you to not be considered, in order for her to have no avenue to go in order to say, I'm going to take charge, is that you already lead the charge. As a man, you already lead in everything. You anticipate. That's your job. You're the one that has to anticipate. You're the one that has to build this foundation that this woman can come to you without overstepping her bounds. I come to you first. As the man, I come to you first. Well, I think I need an oil change, or I think I need this, or the tire feels funny, or this, that, and the third. A woman is supposed to first ask her husband or her boyfriend about these things. I'm not saying she doesn't know how to do it. I'm not saying you don't know how to do it and you go ahead and do it. But I'm saying this is a part of his job. That's a part of his job. Maintenance around this family. Maintenance around taking care of all the things that men are physically capable of doing. and you ask him first. Maybe he has a schedule. Maybe he has all of this written down somewhere. Maybe he knows this stuff in his head. Maybe he has it maybe he knows all of these things. And you just circumvent him without saying, hey, I know you're the person that takes care of the cars. I'm leaving you with, the car. So this is your job. I'm letting you do it, right? So the whole point is when she undermines, or she doesn't deliberately do it, or she undermines your authority, that's a discussion that you all have to have. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. If you like the content, love Super Chat, love Cash App, beautiful. Thank you. Hit the like button. So I'm saying it's not a deliberate thing that she does. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Most people don't know that they're overstepping people's authority. Okay. And we have to understand, ladies, men enter relationships for several reasons. And one of those reasons is not for you to undermine what is he doing there? What is his function? This is the whole point. I think this is one of the things that women have to ask themselves before they get in a relationship. Why are you getting in a relationship? Why do you need a man to be right there? You need to be able to answer that question, ladies. You need to be able to answer the question as to why that man is there. If that man is there because he has money, then he doesn't need to be there. If that man is there because of only his resources, that man doesn't need to be there. You need to pick a different man who satisfies other reasons for being there. Okay. And I get that I need a man and I want the man. I understand both directions that they go. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. I understand that. But you as a woman, you have to figure out, if I want one, what is my behavior? What is the behavior that I need to display in order for him to stay? As I said, men get into relationships for all different type of reasons: emotional connection, love, respect, companionship, sexual fulfillment, sex on a daily, stability, security. She thinks like me. She acts like me. Social pressure sometimes. Want to have a family. Want to build a family. The statistics say when a man gets in a relationship, his life changes for the better. She brings more to his life than just a woman. The whole point is you have to be worth him getting married to. You have to be worth him getting off the market for. Okay. And the main reason why they get married is for support and encouragement. And when you undermine that support and that encouragement, he's going to look for somebody else. He's going to look for that somewhere else if you undermine it, if you continue to undermine it, if you don't know how to do it, if you don't have any kind of training in that support, training in giving that support. So it's a combination of reasons why men get in relationships. You have to be one of those particular things that he needs. You have to be able to fulfill those things. And one of those fulfilled things is not being critical, over demanding, overvaluing your contribution and undervaluing his contribution. I mean, I was talking to this young man and he was saying that's one of the number ones. One of the number one reasons why men do some of the things that they do, because they have been undermined in the relationship. Frustration comes with frustration, insecurity, anger, hurt, loss of confidence, and he resents you for that. Then he becomes disconnected. There's no way I would be walking through this minefield of a marriage and I'm hitting all the wrong markers. If you know maybe that you would be hitting the wrong markers, get some help with hitting the right marker. If you know, see, that's a part of knowing yourself. Do you know what type of female you are? Do you know the things that you say? Do you understand the things you say and how you say those things that could undermine relationships, that can undermine a man, that can drive a man away? Conscious of what you say and how you say it. Just because you're open in communication doesn't mean your communication is right. Okay. That doesn't mean that. It just means you know how to open up your mouth and speak. But do you know how to open your mouth and speak with the intent not to do any harm? Okay. And I understand the mothering instinct. We don't do it deliberately, but a lot of us do it because we're so independent, because we have been independent. We've been raised to be independent. But you have to shake off that independent streak to assess the damage that you may do when you speak independently, because undermining a man's authority is when you speak independently of him and what he has going on or what he wants to have going on in that family. A person has to be, when this is, for example, if somebody gives me a job, and all I do is come in the room, or all they do is come in the room and tell me how to do my job, I'm gonna be like, go ahead, handle your business. I'm gonna say, go ahead, do you know how to do it? You got it. You got this. And I think men have gotten to that point where they say, you got this. And I'm saying, no, we want to give the control and that we want to give it back to you. And you rise to the occasion.